This is being recorded in Blackmagic RAW, 3-to-1 ratio, full 6K. Okay. And it's going to be edited using dehancer, the greatest film emulation that has ever been created by humans is dehancer film emulation. Dehancer film emulation, folks. That is the name. That they sponsor this podcast. They sponsor this channel. They're an incredible team of people. They have developed the greatest plugin I have ever used. Okay. And that is what this podcast is being color graded with. I need you to know that. I need you to understand the importance of that to me. And I thank you for being here. This is the honestly, I don't know podcast with myself. And who am I? Uh, who could I be? I will tell you in just a second after a word from our sponsor. So just hold on a second. Okay, I guess we couldn't place it in there, so it was just me there for a few seconds staring into the abyss of the glass. But let's get going. Let's go. This is the Honestly I Don't Know podcast. I'm Nick Brengle. This is my YouTube channel. Hopefully, if you're watching this, you kind of know who I am. You've watched some of my other videos. If not, go do that maybe first. But either way, thanks for being here. Hit the subscribe button, drop a question or a comment, hit the like button, ring the bell if you want, notifications when the next video comes out. Do that. I think this episode, it's been so long since I've done one of these, and I've been making little notes for quite a while now of things to talk about, things that I just wanted to mention or whatever, topics, life, random things, and the list has gotten quite big. So I don't know if I'm going to get to everything in this episode, but then I will try to get back on a little bit of a schedule and get some of these out, because there's all kinds of things that are going on in my life and things that I've watched, and music and movies and traveling and work and computers and cameras and all of the exciting things that are going on. And I wanted to use this, and this was the intention of, when I started doing this, was just a way to, get everything out that doesn't involve, true content creation of talking about gear, color grading, reviewing a product, whatever. So that's what this is. We're in focus? I hope so. Okay. So aside from everything on this list, something that, well, it is on the list, but that was most recently added literally 2 days ago. And that is, there is a new addition to, a replacement. I've got a new computer. I got the Mac Studio, the M2 Max, and I have the specs here. It's the 32 gigs of memory. It's the base model. And I've talked about this, I think, in a video. I don't remember what video it was, but I talked about my Mac Mini. I had an M1 Mac Mini that for me was an in-between kind of computer. I had a spec'd out iMac for 7-8 years. And then I didn't really, I think at the time, the work that I was doing, whatever, X, Y, and Z, different scenarios that were happening, I felt confident purchasing the Mac Mini, spending almost $0 after selling my, trading in the iMac. And the Mac Mini was phenomenal. But as some projects are a little bigger than others and require a little bit more computing power, the Mac Mini started to show that, obviously being a computer roughly 3 years old now. So, the Mac Studio, ordered that, came in. I already have a monitor, so I didn't need any other accessories or anything like that. Plugging this thing in, one of the first tests that I wanted to do was just a stress test of my own. We all have different types of tests that we do with our computers and our cameras, microphones, yada yada yada. For me, it was, let me take a raw file, a Blackmagic raw file, whatever, a red file, it doesn't matter what it is, and bring it into DaVinci Resolve and color grade it and put every single tool onto it from dehancer, film grain, halation, film compression, everything. Just enable everything, okay, and do that in a relatively quick, whatever. Just you don't really need to color grade it unless you're actually going to use it. This is more of a test. So just enable everything and then hit the space bar and see what happens. Well, on the Mac Mini, the M1, if you did that, it would not play almost at all. It would kind of stutter a little bit. This computer is just, I don't understand how the technology could just continue to get faster and faster at this rate, but I can watch it in regular speed, no frame rate drops, nothing, in DaVinci Resolve, full, just hit the space bar and let it play with audio. If there's effects on it, doesn't matter. That to me is, it's incredible. And so I'm really happy with this computer. I highly recommend it. Obviously, it's tough to transition. Some of us are in like the MacBook Pro world or in the iMac world, and if you've adjusted to just the desktop, then it's easy to kind of maneuver to the next one because you already have the keyboard and the mouse, and you probably already have a really nice monitor, especially if you're doing color grading or video editing or photography, anything like that. So you're only replacing the computer, and just huge jumps in things. Obviously, performance and processing, hands down, it's like a million times better than what I was using. But also, it gives me like 6 USB-C, whatever ports, and I have an SD card slot right in the front, which is really nice. And so, yeah, anyway, it's been great. And I highly recommend it. I believe it, right around that 2000 mark for the base. And I think it's a steal. I don't understand. I was talking to somebody the other day about this computer and talking about now almost 20 years ago when I got a Power Mac G5. It was this tower desktop Apple computer that was made out of like titanium or something. And it was top of the line. It was incredible at the time. But, what we were doing back then was not the same as now. Back then it was mini DV, HDV, and you weren't really doing a lot of color grading or anything like that. You were using iMovie or Final Cut, and you were just cutting things together. It wasn't until years later for me that I kind of came into the other world of color grading and really editing in the more professional way. So yeah, the Mac Studio, still doing different tests, and I have all kinds of different workflows, and so I like to see how that's gonna work for me, especially with having a much faster and more powerful computer. So yeah, that's exciting. I guess while we're on the topic of gear or accessories, I did a video on the GoPro Hero 12, which I believe, I talked about the Insta360 Go or whatever it's called on that video, and how I bought that initially for our trip to Washington State. And the video quality just wasn't great. So I got the GoPro. Just so happened the Hero 12 literally came out like right in that week that I was like buying one of these action cameras. And so I hadn't had the GoPro since the Hero 3 or 4. So this was a crazy upgrade or update, an actual new camera to me. I know a lot of people, every year GoPro releases something just like the iPhone, and it's like one little tiny thing and it's not good enough. And I know that's probably what GoPro did, but for me, not having one for so long, the quality was phenomenal, and we used it throughout our trip. You could see that video. I uploaded a bunch of clips that I shot from that trip, which was phenomenal, by the way. We went to Seattle. We stayed in Seattle for a couple of nights. Beautiful city, great. I mean, nice people, really chill. Environment vibe over there, really clean. And then we spent the big chunk of our trip in Port Angeles, which is just above Olympic National Park in the far northwest corner of the country. And we did a bunch of hikes in Olympic National Park, the Hoh Rainforest. We went to Rialto Beach. We went to Cape Flattery. We did whale watching, and we saw humpback whales and orca, and we ate seafood, and we did a bunch of we really relaxed as well. We got a place in Port Angeles, which is like a small town, kind of a mountain town, and we went grocery shopping, and we cooked dinners and just relaxed, watched fall movies like E.T. and Ghostbusters and Kiki's Delivery Service, and all the classics from that we love to watch as the holidays start to get inside of us. Just shaking this chair. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. That was exciting. This other product. Now I'm going to be doing a video on this, but this is almost like product placement, I guess, in a way. I don't even know if you can get this thing yet because I was trying to look this thing up, but it's the Fog Machine Smoke S. Okay, and this company sent me this out. Look how close I am to the desk here. I can like barely move. But we're gonna try this anyway. So you got this thing here, and there's the liquid in there. Some of you know about this, okay? But I've never had one of these, so I think, does it go this way? Yeah. Then you just clip this thing on, and then you turn it on, and then we're gonna start hazing it up in here. Okay. Let's see what Carmine's back here. I'm not sure if he likes it, but you can't see him. He's behind me, the cat. But let's get some haze going. Let's get it popping in here. Okay, that's enough. Okay. Let's put this away. What are you doing in there, son? Well, it looks like there's a possible fire in here, but there's not. That's the Smoke S fog machine, okay? It's pretty cool. I've never had one of those. It's like a little portable one, and so I'm going to have fun testing that out, and as you can see, if it does anything, I don't like how it leaves a little bit of that, whatever that is, that liquid, whatever it's made out of. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of that. I'm not sure how long you have to kind of let it keep going for it to really do anything. I don't know. So we'll see. I had to stop for a second. I thought it was the cat, but there's like 100 birds fighting over our bird feeder right out the window here. So if you hear little pecking, it's the birds going to town out there. Anyway, so something else, like a year ago, I talked about these old Marvel cards that I inherited and my parents bought back in the 1990. And I've held on to them now. And I sent some out last year to be professionally graded. And I've actually done more of those. It's pretty exciting. I sent like 10 of them. And I know, some of you you're not going to care that much. Actually, let's see. Let me show you. Well, this one's Venom. So I thought this one was pretty cool. Let's see here. So see, there's Venom. Okay, and how it's graded. Got an 8.5. It's not a great, this is an okay grade. Either way, it's encased in something. It looks really cool. I mean, who doesn't like that? But here are the good ones. So here's a Gem Mint 10, and I've had this as in like an extra plastic. There's Spider-Man's Web Shooters. This is from 1991 Marvel Universe cards there. And then here's another Spider-Man. He's in the Venom suit. This is like the first time this is seen. This is 1990, and that's a Gem Mint 10. And then another Spider-Man, Wolverine. Let's get back into focus here. Whoa. And we're back. Okay. I just wanted to show you those, and I'm going to be kind of slowly continuing to grade a bunch of them that are in really good shape, and then I don't know, just sit on them and see what happens. I don't know if you know anything about it. Let me know. Well, there are people on YouTube I've talked with that just the whole community is incredible, and they collect these things. They're not in it for the money. They're in it because they literally love it. And it's really fun to be a part of that in even a small way, just to watch it a little bit. Otherwise, I would have had zero idea what it was if I didn't have these cards or even look into it, really. God, what else? God, there's just so many things I have on here. Hearing test. I did have a hearing test. That was Gosh, that was like over a month ago now. But I had this issue. I think we figured out it's TMJ. But I felt like my right ear was full or just needed to pop. It wasn't affecting my hearing or anything like that, but it was just annoying. It wasn't painful, nothing. And so I went to the doctor, couldn't really figure anything out, took some different decongestant, different, prescribed things. Nothing that was really doing anything at all. And so then I went to a specialist, to what is it, the ENT. They ended up doing a hearing test. My hearing was incredible. I could hear frequencies above and below what the average age of myself hears, I guess, or whatnot. So that was great. But then anyway, found out that it really was my night guard. I had just gotten a night guard for the first time in my life, and that was doing something and messing up. I was clinching or doing whatever. And of course, I'm going to still clinch. I mean, it is what it is. But I need to go to the dentist to figure that out. But yeah, so that happened. So that was interesting there for a while. But hey, I have great hearing. So we found that out. Well, what are you going to do? Movies and television. It says like Jeopardy here. We'll take movies and television for 100. Love and Death. Yeah, we watched Love and Death. Gosh, see, this is like 2 months ago. Probably I wrote that, but we watched Love and Death, which was the mini series on HBO about that woman who killed the other woman, and she was cheating with the lady's husband and everything. Anyway, the show was phenomenal. The lead was I can't think of her name, Elizabeth Olsen, and then Jesse Plemons is the other lead. Just a phenomenal series. The acting was unbelievable for such a dark, story. Just incredibly done. I know there was another show done on Hulu that was telling the same true story, but with Jessica Biel, I believe. And that looks interesting as well. But I don't think I could watch another series about the same thing. But Star Wars. I wrote Star Wars. Oh yeah, because I was trying to rewatch Star Wars, and it gets worse every time. Not the originals. The original three, they'll always be the greatest three Star Wars. You won't be able to beat those. But the ones that came out in the early 2000s, those they're rough. But what I'm specifically talking about is the new ones. Force Awakens or whatever, those are really hard to get through now. I don't know what it is, but they're so Disneyfied. I think when I saw them in the theater when they came out, it was like, oh, this is Star Wars, this is great. I'm going to watch this, be entertained, which I should be, and it was fun. But rewatching it with a little more of a detailed eye on it, it doesn't hold up for me. And I'm sure some of you will hate hearing that, but yeah, it just doesn't. Asteroid City, horrible, just awful. Just Wes Anderson is great, but that just wasn't. He missed the mark on that. It is what it is. He moves on. Not every director can make a great movie every time. So it was a cool looking movie. It just was boring, and I didn't really care about the characters or anything really at all. In the Mood for Love. Now this is a recommendation from a friend. In the Mood for Love is kind of in the canon of like one of the greatest films of all time, greatest foreign films. And if I remember correctly, it's Chinese. Yeah, it's a Chinese film. And cinematically unbelievable. The acting, it really is just a gorgeous film. The problem is I didn't care, I guess. I don't know. I just didn't really get into it. I love the music, the cinematography, everything about it. Just the story was like, whatever, whatever. It's like when I tell people to see The Tree of Life, which is Terrence Malick, there's almost no dialogue in the film, and you could watch it and be like, whatever, and you might. But if you let yourself kind of open up to the idea of what the film is trying to do for you, you'll have a different experience. And I think that's what happens, where a movie might miss the mark for you while it hits the mark for somebody else, because you didn't watch it in the right way that unlocked your potential to, let it do whatever it was going to do to you. And that makes no sense at all. But yeah, so we could talk forever about that. Breaking habits. Nails. Yeah, I finally I'm a habitual nail biter for my whole life. And I finally, I'm going to sneeze here in a second. Excuse me. So yeah, I stopped biting my nails and had my wife paint my nails, and they've been getting much longer. Although I bit some of them because they were affecting guitar play. But yeah, so happy to report you can do it. If you bite your nails, you can break that habit too because I did it. So, um, yeah. Okay. It's like we're just hitting points here. We're just hitting stuff. Atlantic Festival. That was now seems like forever ago. I edited some stuff for the Atlantic. I've worked with them over the past couple of years on some different projects, and I went to the Atlantic Festival and I got to sit in on some talks with Hillary Clinton. What's the Kerry Washington and Anthony Blinken. There's just a bunch of really good conversations. The lady who's the chief technology officer of OpenAI. It was just really powerful conversations that are free. You can watch those. I believe if you go search on YouTube the Atlantic Live Festival, you can watch those as well. They're really great talks. And they just give you a different insight into some of these things and talk about things like AI and from, the mouths of the people who are developing this stuff and understanding that they're at a point now that they're just kind of figuring it out as they go along, which is pretty scary, but also exciting, but probably a little more scary. So yeah, there was that. Oh yeah, there's like multiple wars going on, of course, which doesn't really, it's just a depressing topic and really, really, really sad. And we're not going to do that, but we do think about those people in the Middle East and in Ukraine and in Russia, even, just anybody who's suffering and innocent lives. It doesn't make any sense, but that's the unfortunate thing of life is that things don't make sense and life isn't fair. And, as a little individual, you're handcuffed and tied and taped to the ground. There's just nothing that you can do, and that's really difficult. And some people it weighs a lot heavier on. I try my best not to, but yeah, you get pretty angry and upset, and you wonder, why it has to be the way it has to be. So, yeah, back to positive things. Oh, it's getting cold here. I live in kind of the northeast, almost DC. It's the northeast. We already hit a freezing temperature a few days ago, so that's kicking back in. And what other updates? Yeah. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else should we talk about? What else? Could we just ramble and say nothing at all? No, we're going to talk about a different YouTube channel. And if you're listening to this point and you are subscribed to the channel, you've been around, you're not like, mom or dad, if you're watching, I've talked about this before, but I play this game called DayZ on PlayStation. It's an open world, like post-apocalyptic survival, military-based game. I'm not going to go into all the details. You can look it up. It's one of the most complex, amazing games that's ever been created. Like if you know what Red Dead is or Grand Theft Auto, it's like that times 100-fold. So just think of it that way. It is extremely amazing and difficult at the same time, and it's a lot of fun. So anyway, I've been playing that since it came out on console, about 4 years now. But for about the past year, I did not play. I got rid of my PlayStation 4. I'd had it since it came out, and just kind of wanted a break and just didn't want to play the game anymore. But then I got a PlayStation 5. Okay. So recently, maybe a month or so ago, got a PlayStation 5, and I had this YouTube channel called Bonehead DayZ, and it was really just stuff that I edited and uploaded that was kind of from the group of guys I played with, and just fun edits. There's a lot of creators on YouTube for just DayZ, huge creators making incredible content, a lot of PC gamers and some console. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to get this PlayStation, and now I'm going to have the ability to record my gameplay in 4K, whereas the PlayStation 4 was 720, which is why I didn't really care. I didn't take it seriously. It was just for fun. But now I'm like, oh, now I have this high quality video that I could now push out and probably gain little more traction in this channel if I wanted to. Well, folks, over the course of like 20 days, 30 days, somewhere in there, the channel went from like 100 subscribers to almost 700 subscribers, wherever it's at now, 600 and something. It's crazy. So that's been a lot of fun. You know, I play the game, you know, you got to put a lot of time and effort into this game. And then, you know, you record content, and then I export it to a hard drive. I'm here at the computer. I'm editing different types, like long form, sort of raw edits of just gameplay, and then PvP edits of just, you know, getting kills and funny interactions with different people and things like that. So that's been a lot of fun. And then this channel here, I have some different videos that I need to be pushing out that'll be coming. I've had some different work things going on. I'm getting ready to go to Denver in a couple weeks for a shoot. And then I just picked up a big contract, editing a bunch of really, really important work that's coming up for a big time Ivy League school, and so that project's going to be a lot of fun. Working with some really cool people, which is always, you know, the most important part. Is like who are you working with, not what are you working on. Because at the end of it, those relationships live on, basically. So, you know, the project gets left behind, whether it wins an Oscar or it is a dumpster fire. Your friends, your workers, or your coworkers, whoever it is, your colleagues, you continue on. So, yeah. So that'll be fun. I don't know what else I wrote. How long we've been going? Almost 30 minutes. We've almost been going 30 minutes. That's pretty good. And I've been talking the whole time, and no one else is here except for me. So, boy. I have other things I want to talk about, but we'll kind of wrap it up here. Just hit that 30 minute. I think that's a good chunk of time for you to give to a podcast, especially to me, a random individual who am I? Like, what? Oh boy, you know, you'd really got to wonder, but I do appreciate you if you're listening to this and watching me. It's been a pleasure being here at my desk and talking to you. And if you enjoyed it, hit the like button. If you're subscribed already, thank you. If not, consider doing it. Press the button. You know, if you don't have a button to figure out how to do it. There's different ways you can do it. Okay. If you have a question, if you have a comment, a concern, if you need to tell me something, you can do that down below. You know where that's at. You can email me. You can get in touch with me. There are different ways to do it. And until next time, go create something. Go make something. Go write something. Go clean your house. You sick, twisted, dirty individual. Go clean your house. Get it clean. Maybe somebody's coming over. You never know. You never know when grandma's going to stop by. And if grandma comes by, your house better be clean, because grandma don't come in no house that's dirty, okay? Dust it all. Vacuum, okay? If you don't have a vacuum, go buy a vacuum. I'm me and nobody else. I'm reinventing myself. I'm me and nobody else. Ooh.